Hey everybody, it's me, V the Sepia Scholar, and I'm coming to you once again with Ready to Love, Season 6, Episode 10, Better Late Than Never. So before we get kicked off, let me go ahead and drop this intro for you guys, and we'll jump straight into the episode. All right, I was getting it into the little beat, doing a little something, something. But anyways, we watched Ready to Love this week. There wasn't much going on. It was a little boring until the end. I'm kind of ready for the season to be over, not because I don't love my beautiful melanated people finding love for themselves, but I think this season has been kind of like a bust because of the connections. If I were to have to rate it, I would give it 2 out of 5 Smarties because yeah, we seeing some beautiful people. They getting out there, but I think people are on here a little bit too much for clout. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into my notes real quick because let me tell you, there's a lot going on and nothing going on at the same damn time. So I was just anyways, last time we were left on a cliffhanger and we didn't know if Paul, aka POJ, was gonna get voted off or if it was gonna be Tori, the kidney smasher. So we were left on a cliffhanger, and man, they could have kept that whole shit. But either way, let me kick up these notes. So we start off with Sabrina because remember we're on a cliffhanger, and she goes all around the mulberry bush to tell Tori he's not ready to love. I mean, you could tell Tori knew he was gonna get eliminated anyway, so he left pretty graciously. He seemed like he was in a bright mood, and basically he said he knew what he did wrong. He basically put all his work into Sabrina instead of cultivating relationships with other women. So, with that being said, the kidney shifter slash cupcake gifter had left the building and he skipped off. We gonna miss you, Tori. Maybe not really, but I'm sure you're a great dude. You just didn't come off that great on this show. So, Tommy turns to Paul and says, "You're back to being Paul." And Tommy's always picking on Paul. So Paul's just used to the teasing that he does. And Tommy also says, "We'll be back together at the end of the week." And Dakia says, "Wait a minute, he didn't say anyone would be going home." So basically she's like, "Oh shoot, let me try to get in where I fit in. We got a chance to work it out." So they go back inside, and Demetrius is letting Sabrina know he wants to continue their relationship outside slash after the show. But he tells her it's on her. And she says, "We can if we can find a balance between love and affection. We're both used to people pursuing us." So, yeah, they're both used to being the prize. Don't get me started about men who think they're the prize. But either way, he believes that he's been putting in the effort and she thinks that he hasn't, right? Meanwhile, Joy and Carmen and Dakia are watching the whole thing play out, watching it like TV in the other room, and she basically breaks because they even make a joke about popcorn, getting popcorn to watch. I'm like, if y'all want to watch this boring shit with popcorn, I guess. So either way, she basically says, I need you to pursue me, chase me, court me. She doesn't say all those words, but she's talking all around it because she doesn't want to seem like she's not submissive, which is the type of woman he likes, right? She's trying not to be assertive, but in this case, she totally should since you're trying to go for actual love, right? He says this situation is unusual for him because if they were outside of this whole process, he would put full pressure on because he would know that she was fully focused on him. And I'm like, why did you bring your ass on this show? You do know y'all are here to date, right? Anyways, I don't know how I would feel if I was actually in the process myself. So Sabrina says now that Tori is gone, she can focus on Donovan and Demetrius. But if she texts him, she wants reciprocity. Demetrius thinks that he's basically, to me, Demetrius basically thinks that he's fine. He looks good with suits and his beard, whatever. And he doesn't think he should have to put any effort into any relationships because she keeps telling him over and over what she needs and he just refuses to do it. So in his confessional, he admits he's not giving 100%. because she is pursuing multiple connections. And I'm going to say once again, although that makes sense in the real world, it's a cop out because look what happened to Tori when he was fully pursuing Sabrina and Sabrina only. So we go over to Donovan and Carmen, who are booed up in the hot tub, and she tells him that she's going to focus on him. She asked if he was nervous if he was going home, and he said yes. But I feel like, we could basically, I feel like we could be together. Donovan turns around and says, we can be together if you're ready to take it to the next level. So technically, Sabrina's only option is Demetrius. Maybe she doesn't know it. Maybe Donovan's not being straightforward on where Sabrina lands. All right. On where Sabrina lands. So maybe she's confused of what the hell going on. All right. So we're over to, we're talking to Demetrius. Hold on. Let me go back. You know what happened when you have those notes. Anyway, so technically Sabrina is the only option for Demetrius. And Carmen says, but I see you looking at Sabrina. She's a good girl, but I'm a better woman. You know how she is. Da, 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 da. And I told y'all baby Jesus Eyes is just in it for competition. So Donovan says since Tina isn't there, he's focused on Carmen and Sabrina. Now, back inside, the key is in her feelings alone. And we all know because the past episode, Joy and Clifton were putting bags in rooms, having matching onesies, bopping together, having a good ass time, spending the night together. So she know damn well he's not going to choose her. So she's in her feelings inside, and Clifton walks by like ain't shit wrong. And she basically tells him he hasn't verbalized his choice, but any blind man can see he has chosen Joy. He says he knows he's in the hot seat because he planned to spend time with Takia and ended up spending time with Joy because once they got there, he felt the connection was stronger. Takia says there was no hot seat. She wants him to get what he wants, but she is in her feelings. And to me, this is V speaking. It's all a numbers game to stay on the show because basically I feel like him and Joy already knew they were going to pick each other. But when you do that, AKA Camille and what the hell that man that was dressed like a genie on the reunion. Oh my God. Anyways, Camille and her dude basically chose each other and it made the whole rest of the show miserable. So I think they pretended to date other people to keep the show going, right? So he basically said, she basically tells him, you should have told me, and he agrees that he should have told her. And in his confessional, he said that his connection with Joy is stronger, even though Dakia is a nice lady. And this is side drama, foolishness. Cliff actually talked mad shit about Dakia on Facebook, and I'm wondering why everybody's attacking Dakia. They're acting like she's so fine, they want to get with her. But outside of the show, you have Eric who was calling her a gerbil mouth, even though he wanted to feel, he tried to feel them titties allegedly. Then you have, and think about it, he's friends with Carmen, and that's going to make sense what happens at the end of this episode. And you have Cliff talking trash because he said Dakia knew she had no connections there, which may have been true, but he ain't have to cuss the lady out like that. So Cliff is not as clean as he tries to look on here. And I got a lot to say about Joy. So either way, Dakia says she now needs to put her guard up, and he asks where she's going, and she's like, I'm thinking you about to leave the show. You need to go the hell away from this show because these people are mean and don't care nothing about you. She's sad and she sheds a tear. I'm like, don't be crying over this. Oh, anyway, I'm not going to say it. Anyways, your man is not here. So then we turn over to Demetrius, Clifton, and Joy, and they're in the hot tub. And Joy asks if Cliff is good. And he says he is, but others are not. And she says she's not worried about others. And I told y'all about Joy because a lot of times you guys get fooled by looks. To me, Joy is the one with the BDE. If you don't know what that big D energy, she's very masculine. She's a homeboy. She's just in a pretty package because she has a cute face, and it makes sense because she was raised by her dad. Anyway, so she dates like a man. Even the way she crowds your physical space, the way she comes at people, it's very manly to me. She gives off very much BDE. And she got her man, so now she's happy and cocky, kissing all over him, making little slick comments and stuff. And it was just like, okay, you got him. You already knew you had him when y'all first got there, so it doesn't make any sense either way. Now we're going over to Demetrius and Sabrina, and they're booed up, and he's rubbing her dogs, aka feet. And then they're basically doing a montage between how everybody ended up in the night. Then they show Cliff and Joy kiss. Then they show poor Paul, aka POJ, turning off his lonely nightlight and going to sleep, right? And I'm like, he need to go find Tina or Dakia, but Tina missing in action and Dakia over there crying in the car. Anyways, speaking of Tina, she shows up talking about she missed everything. Yeah, you did. And if you look at it, Donovan and Carmen ended up together because they probably would already did that or whatever. Ended up together because she wasn't there. Then Tina pulls Donovan to the side and she talks to him and she basically tells him to his face that she has no real connections. And I'm like, why'd you waste that high ass gas to tell these people you don't want to be there? You could have called them from the house. Then she says she goes outside because she needed a moment. I guess the long car ride there wasn't enough a moment to reflect on what the hell was going on. And they ask Paul if he wants to comfort her, and he says, I've decided against it. So Paul said all his focus is going to be Dakia. He ain't stunting Tina ass no more. So they were all talking about Tina, and Joy was pretty petty, talking about how can she show up, act like ain't nothing wrong. Did she show up for your manly ass? Are y'all dating? Did she holler at Cliff and we don't know about it because they love the high connections? What is your beef, Joy? Take you, Cliff, and y'all matching onesies and go lay down because what you did didn't make any sense. Anyways, Donovan said that all the guys are over her because she's been missing. And Baby Jesus Eyes goes outside to, aka Carmen, goes outside to investigate and rub it in. Tina says she has only one connection and it's with Donovan. She's like, what you say? Huh? What? Because that's her connection. And Carmen says, what about Demetrius? And basically, Carmen said, you liked Paul and Demetrius. And Tina says Paul's energy is off and Demetrius reminds her of her ex. So Tina says she has no real connections and she may not be ready to love. All right, makes sense. She also went over there on, I think it was Little Black Book or one of those folks, and talked about how the show was overwhelming. She has a 2-year-old son. They probably not, dating is a lot of time, effort, money, all that good stuff. So she probably just didn't have the motivation to keep doing it. So especially if you don't see a connection there, girl, please throw your church finger up and peace out. Anyways, they go back to civilization and Paul and Dakia go on a date and he remembers that she likes red wine, which is cute. Like dudes remembering what you like. Joy and Cliff go to dinner and she jumps into his arms and allegedly it looks like they smashed already during the weekend, but she claims all she did was sleep. But she's always talking about how fine he is, his smile. And so you mean to tell me she's always putting her body parts on all these dudes, but she ain't put that box on that dude when she had a chance to be alone? Somebody lying. But I guess, allegedly, I don't know. So, yeah, P.O. and Dakia talking, and she says, although this experience has caused all types of, good trauma and everything, she still loves love. And it seems like Paul is making way with Dakia, like trying kind of like getting her to warm up to see, basically keep both their ass on the show. They saying it's love. Everybody just want to stay on the show. Anyways, Cliff says he is in more than like with Joy. She finishes his sentences. He said waking up to her was like waking up to Christmas. And Joy jumps up and kisses him first. She always takes action first when it comes to Cliff. And I've met more guys recently that want the woman to be the pursuer. Why? Because they're afraid of rejection, but they're not going to say that. But that's what it seems. Now they're all at brunch and Tommy asks if they have heard from Tina. I'm like, why the hell do they need to keep up with Tina? Aren't you a part of the show? What the hell? Anyways, they start telling him that she showed up to the house late with no real true excuses. And he starts asking everybody about their connection. He asked Joy about her connection with Cliff. She was gaga as usual. They asked Cliff about his concerns, and he says he's still concerned about her communicating with her exes. Then they asked Paul about his connections, and he said Tina was solid. Now she's unsolid. Yeah, she's missing. She's ghosted. He said Carmen doesn't feel like she is intentional, and she's always asking him about himself and never saying anything about her, so he feels like he's being sized up. And Carmen, baby Jesus Eyes, was shocked. Oh man, me? Not me. She said she would try to have casual conversations with him about his dates, and he would tell her to mind her business, rightfully so. She says she feels like he's questioning her integrity. And every time he would basically every time she would ask about the kid, he'd be like, ooh. And when she starts putting that out there, like Paul had like a visible reaction to her putting him out there. He basically alluded that it was an unpleasant experience, and it was weird because Paul was keep saying that his dates with the key are amazing. So she pulled out receipts where basically she's saying that he needs a woman that looks a certain way, and he didn't want to have to think about how to get aroused. And I'm thinking to myself, I said, if he did say this, it's always the ugly dudes who try to clown, try to make you feel some type of way about your looks, or make you think that you need their validation. It'd be the worst looking dudes on the planet, and they will try to tear a woman down to quote unquote humble her. I even heard this week that some women need to be humbled. The world is tough enough, especially for women, especially black women. I think we get humbled enough. We don't need the dude that we're laying up with to humble us too. That doesn't make any damn sense. But anyways, he's basically shifting around in the seat. He's nervous. So Tommy asked if he was actually talking about the Kia. And basically Carmen was saying he said that a certain woman wasn't his style. So basically, to me, basically because Paul said that Carmen wasn't intentional, you use this moment once again to dog the Kia. I feel they're all Team Eric, even though he tried, the Kia called her a gerbil mouth, tried to touch them titties, all types of crazy stuff. They're Team Eric, so they're using every way they can to try to tear the Kia down. And she keeps trying to stay classy, probably because of the job that she does. And to me, Carmen has always been in competition mode, because why would she ask for other dates? Paul admits to saying he wants sexy women, but he never said that the Kia didn't do that for him. He also says that Carmen doesn't need to know about the other dates. And she disagrees. She says she does. And I'm like, why? So the Kia tries to interject. The Kia says she believes Paul, of course, because Carmen takes every chance she can to tear the Kia down and be in competition. And it's like, why? If you're so confident, you're so beautiful, all this other stuff, why the hell are you even worried about the Kia's gerbil mouth ass? Why? She shouldn't even be a thought. She shouldn't even be on your level or your radar. So either way, the Kia says that she thinks that Carmen is bitter over Paul. The Kia says when it comes to arousal or sexiness, your body and everything doesn't need to display. That classy wins every time. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments. But Carmen, aka Hot Sex on a Platter, that's what I call her, says you don't have it to flaunt. That's why you feel that way. And the Kia says natural versus purchased, right? So she throwing jabs that, Carmen bought them titties, right? So Tommy asked them to have respect for each other. And that whole scene was a disaster. Now they're over. It gets even worse. Now they're over to Sabrina and asking her about her connections. And she says Donovan is fun but newly single. And Demetrius is more solid but wants a passive person. And Demetrius says that Sabrina has misread his friend's comments. And I'm like, Demetrius, you're a liar, because you even said you wanted a submissive person. So nobody misread a thing. You just trying to go home with somebody. You want to win. So you want to say you never said that. You definitely said you wanted a submissive person. And Sabrina thought that was a red flag. Either way, Donovan says his strongest connection is, Sabrina wants action. I said that before. She wants to be pursued. And point blank, Demetrius is not going to do it. So to me, and I've said this on many occasions, I've said this on different people's lives, Sabrina doesn't like anyone. She just likes the attention. She wants to be chased. She just wanted to be on the show to showcase herself. Either way, they go to Donovan, and Donovan says his strongest connection is Carmen, which is surprising. And he says the reason he's surprised that Sabrina still cares about how long it's been since he's been divorced. But she needs to be more mindful of how she moves in his presence, because whenever anybody's around, she's all in Demetrius's face. And of course, people are going to fall back, right? So Sabrina says in her confessional that Donovan is just embarrassed that she called out his red flags. And I'm like, no, you are just focused on Demetrius. So if I'm in a room with you and there's somebody else and we both have, we both want to deal with you, be with you or whatever, and I see you're putting all your focus on the other lady, I'm going to fall back, because I'll be a damn fool, because you're obviously putting your focus and your attention and your interest in who you're actually interested in. So why the hell would I keep chasing you? So this is not Steve Urkel and Laura. This is real ass life. So Donovan said Sabrina, and then it came out that Donovan said Sabrina snapped on him when the cameras was off. And she told him, you'll go home like the last one did. What? He said the devil showed its face. She swears she didn't say it and that they were joking. And I'm going to put this out because y'all was so anti. I know Laverne looked good. He ain't shit either. But I told y'all during that Laverne elimination, something was off. She tried to flip it to make him apologize and stuff. But I could see Sabrina is nasty, y'all. She's very nasty. The way she talks to people, the way she comes off condescending. Too many of y'all told her she was cute. And she talked to people any kind of damn way. Look how she flipped on Tori. She didn't have to like Tori. She didn't have to show up to his meet a friend thing. She didn't have to do none of that shit. She could have ghosted just like Ace. She showed up and then she had the nerve to get mad that he called to check and make sure Ace was okay when you living your best life with Demetrius. You are just out of line, out of pocket. And I just don't like Sabrina, y'all. I don't care how pretty y'all think she is. Her personality is just not it. Either way, Sabrina was upset and she said the whole thing was out of line, that she didn't say that. She was joking. I do not believe Sabrina. I believe Sabrina is lying. Back to Tommy and his outfits. Tommy tries to meet with Tina because she's been missing. And after an hour, she doesn't show up and she doesn't answer his call. So it seems like she ghosted just like her ex said she would, even though he called her a lot. I mean, she called him a liar. She ghosted Tommy's ass like she ghosted his ass. And that's why he came back many years later to dog her ass out on TV. With that being said, that was the end of the episode. Nobody got eliminated because you got to think about it. Tori got eliminated on the dude side. Tina's not showing up anymore. Behind the scenes, she probably not going to show up anymore. So they won't need to eliminate a woman. So I think that basically, let me see. Joy and Clifton going to skip off into the sunset and they onesies. Carmen and Donovan may do it, but they are not a match, y'all. It's a mess. Demetrius and Sabrina are going to skip off because they both have egos and they both want to prove a point. Paul and Dakia, it's like a bad game of kickball and you're the last person getting chosen and they know damn well they don't want you on their team. I'd be surprised if any of these relationships actually work. And I know I'm petty, but I would love to see how Cliff is actually going to deal with Joy in a real life setting and if she will be acting as cocky as she has been this whole episode. And bye, Tina. It was good to know you. We know damn well your ass done ghosted everybody's ass. And with that being said, thank you for joining me with this episode of Ready to Love. Love who loves you. May God bless you with everything that you need. And the Sepia Scholar is out. Bye, guys.